Hi guys, I'm Nima from MVL Leasing, and we're hosting our last Cars and Coffee for the 2025 season. So I'm having my friends at Saturn's Drives join us, and I messaged a few of my customers to come and join us as well. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna walk through the lot, and I'm just gonna talk about some of the cars that came to visit today. We'll start with this one, really good bang for buck. This is a 991.1 GT3 with the wing. You get the forged wheels, center locking. This one's black. I think this car is actually aged really, really well. This car was in our last video here. That's a 570S. And got a little bit of LT treatment, nice carbon wing in the back. Trying to convince this guy to get a 600 LT Spider that I have inside that we did a review on. Link in the description. This guy here, he's got a 911 Turbo, that's a 991. It's got those Fuchs wheels that are really similar to the ones in the Sport Classic, and he's got that really nice interior. His hat matches his interior. The inlay of the seats has that, I can't remember what they call that print. It's kind of like plaid. Looks really sharp, gentleman's car. Okay, over here, this is a yellow version of probably my favorite car. This is an Aventador S. So Aventador S is over and above your standard Aventador. You get standard four-wheel steering, center locking wheels, updated bodywork, 40 extra horsepower, new instrument cluster. We're gonna be doing a review on one coming up that's probably my favorite Aventador I've ever seen, so stay tuned for that. This one is a really nice spec. This is a 992.1 GT3 RS. This one has an interesting paint scheme. The rims are blue. It's got this matte gray finish on it. I like what he did with the wing. He put a picture of the, or a kind of outline of the Nürburgring with the lap time that the GT3 RS was able to put down. Just so you guys know, this car actually beat the Porsche 918 on the Nürburgring. Kind of a huge feat for a production 911. Really nice car. We've talked a lot about aerodynamics, and no car has it more in spades than this guy right here. Really, really well built car. This one isn't as much of an attention getter. This one belongs to a friend of mine. This is an Audi RS6 wagon. Probably the biggest sleeper car you'll ever see. They don't even make the RS7 anymore because of how successful this car is. It's just over 600 horsepower, all-wheel drive. You can get them with carbon ceramics. This one doesn't have it, but you can get it. Like I said, biggest sleeper that you can ever buy. Okay, let's take it to Japan. This car belongs to one of my personal friends. His name's Don. This is an AP2 second generation Honda S2000. He's got the factory Honda front lip on it. Nice black and red leather interior, stock wheels lowered on coilovers, I believe, and just a modified intake. And that's really all you need to get all the fun out of this car. And these cars have skyrocketed in value. There was a time where you can get these things for well under $20,000. They were giving these things away. Now you can't get them because Honda will never make something like this again. This car is a 2.2 liter with like 240 horsepower. Like, that's a lot of power out of 2.2 liters, and no turbos, no superchargers, no nothing. Lots of fun. Smiles per hour to the sky on this one. Keeping it with the Japanese influence, this car belongs to a personal friend of mine. His name's Vince, and this is what they call a Suzuki Carry. These are legal to drive here. They're easy to import, super cheap to acquire, and as you can tell, he's had a lot of fun modifying this car. He got a custom body kit for it. He's got four-spoke rims on it with stretched tires, and if you come in the back, just come check it out. You can easily fit a scooter in the back. This particular friend of mine's big enough that you can just pick it up out of the back and put it on the ground. But you can still carry stuff with this. 660 cc's, manual transmission, all-wheel drive. Really unique to look at. Even in stock form like this, it's a real attention getter. This is my friend Kathy's Huracan. She put a nice gray wrap on it, and I like the carbon fiber lip that she put in the front. Really kind of completes it and adds to the more ground effects. She changed the wheels. She also lowered it, and I like it because it's kind of more a Bruce Wayne spec. It's not some super loud color, and it's a Spider. Really good looking car. So this car here is a Audi R8, second generation, or last generation, because they said they're not going to replace it, but we'll see what they're going to do about that. It's built on the same underpinnings as this Huracan. So it's a 5.2 liter V10. This one looks like a GT, or sorry, a Performance with probably 610 horse. Standard carbon ceramic brakes, carbon wing, carbon side blades, carbon side skirts, front lip, mirror caps. All this stuff is standard on this model. Really nice car. It's just like this Huracan, just a little bit easier to drive, a bit more comfortable, and not as ostentatious, but they hold their value well, and again, it's the last of the V10s, so they're really nice to drive. And if you watch the review that we did on the 2023 Audi R8 V10 rear-wheel drive, I go over a lot of the differences that you kind of sacrifices you make when you go from a Huracan to this, but also some of the conveniences that you get when you go from a Huracan to this. To each their own. They're both great cars. But like one thing I said in that review is that when you're in a Huracan, you never forget that you're driving a Huracan, or you never forget that you're driving a Lamborghini. When you're in an R8, sometimes they're so tame that you actually forget what you're driving, which in some people would consider a good thing. But if I'm spending a lot of money on a sports car, I never want to forget. That's just me. Now, when Mercedes ditched the SLS in 2015, they had to follow it up with something. And the SLS was a car that was made wholly by AMG. So they kind of continued that tradition, and in 2016 they replaced it with the AMG GTS. And then in 2018 they introduced AMG GT R. That's this guy right here. So 4-liter twin turbo V8, 577 horsepower, 4-wheel steering, 2 exhaust systems, more aero. This is quite a potent car. They're a lot more affordable than they used to be, and they hold their value really well. And they actually don't make them anymore because they released the SL63 and the GT63, which is a coupe version of the SL63 designed to replace this. So if you like that car with the nice long hood and the short back, or if you like that look in general, then they stopped making these in 2020. So really good car, and it's a really good gentleman cruiser too. It can be an animal and it can be well-mannered as well. So it's a really good car that AMG made for Mercedes. Okay, now one cool thing I wanted to point out about this car is the exhaust system. So you actually have a center exit exhaust, and you have ones at the side here too. And this obviously generates so much heat that they got to put these panels here on your plastic trim so it doesn't damage that. The car has various different exhaust notes, so when you put it in animal mode, this thing really snarls. So the exhaust plumbing is unlike any other GT car you've ever seen. I'm simplifying it. We'd have to be underneath for me to show you, but it's pretty neat stuff. This car here also belongs to a friend of mine. His name's Ken. This is a 600 LT coupe. You guys know how much I like coupes because they're more rigid and things like that. So this one, they basically took a 570S and they dialed it up to 11. I did the review on the 600 LT Spider, a lot of the same gear. Brakes from a 720S, carbon fiber aero. Sometimes it's exposed, sometimes it's not. The Spider that I have, it's not exposed. This one is exposed carbon. These are MSO wheels. These look like extra aggressive side skirts. I like his interior. He's got the LT seats with the orange stripe in the middle, and this seems to go with the whole look anyways. I like how his hood is all exposed carbon fiber. The wing is the same one that's on the Spider that we reviewed on the blue one, with the metal in the middle of the wing to deal with all the heat coming out of the exhaust that comes off the top of the engine rather than out the back. This one has a really nice spec, and he runs a website and an Instagram called Motor Addicts. Check it out. Just a couple more cars to go before we wrap it up. This car actually belongs to a friend of mine. I leased him this car. This is a 2018 Lamborghini Huracan Performante Spider. And I've maintained ever since that this car came out that, in my opinion, it had the most bang for buck and was the best Huracan ever designed. STOs are cool. I love STOs. They're super wild and stuff like that. Evos are good because they plucked a lot of parts off of this car and put it into a regular production Huracan. But when this car came out, it really changed the game. You got different wheels, different brakes, updated aero, and this is the first Huracan where they introduced that new carbon composite that looks almost like granite. This one is a really nice color. I think it's called Rosso Mars, like the planet, I guess. He's got the gloss black Spider wheels. He kept the Italian stripe on the side. I like how he kept it mostly stock, and he's taken relatively good care of it because, believe it or not, this car has about 80,000 kilometers, which is kind of a lot, not something you always see on a Huracan. But he takes good care of his stuff, and you can tell just by looking at it. This car here is actually a Porsche Cayman GT4 RS. Now, when they were introduced, they never normally got this treatment. The best thing you can get out of a Cayman was maybe a GTS, or something like that. But then they started giving them that GT treatment. They started giving them to the GT department at Porsche and letting them have all their fun with it. So they first came out with the GT4, and then they introduced the GT4 RS. So it gets all the same treatment that the GT3 does. Incredibly modified aero for the front end. You get those vents in the fender that the GT3 RS made popular. A lot of exposed carbon fiber. This one was spec'd like that. A sticker instead of a badge. You get a similar wing with gooseneck pillars in the back. Full exposed carbon fiber. Before, you could never dream about getting this stuff on a Cayman. And before, some people looked at a Cayman as like a girl's Porsche. Not anymore, because this car is absolutely deadly on a circuit. Carbon ceramic brakes. It's mid-engined, actually. So in a lot of ways, this car handles a lot better than a GT3 RS would. But it's not faster. They're not going to make a car like this and say that have it be faster than its bigger brother. But it still really pushes that envelope, and you get so much performance per dollar for this car here. Really good example. So I mentioned to you guys before, we saw that yellow Aventador S, and I explained to you a couple of the benefits that you get when you go with an Aventador S over a standard Aventador. And sometimes we get some cars that come in stock that you never forget. For me, it's this one right here. This is a 2020 Aventador S Coupe. It only has 11,000 kilometers. The name of the color is called Nero Nemesis, which is Lamborghini's name for matte black. The whole car is covered in a satin PPF. You get, like I said, you get the four-wheel steering, the center locking wheels, and we call this one Batman spec because the inside, the seats are just trimmed in yellow. So sometimes you have these big, thick yellow inlays that kind of stand out a bit too much and kind of scream at you. This one, just the stitch is deviated. You have some piping on the side of the seats that kind of highlight the shape of the seat. A lot of carbon fiber, gloss black badging. It's probably the meanest looking Aventador I've ever seen, and I think the car is crazy enough as it is. So as nice as SVJs are, like the one we did the review on for the 2019, I don't really, me personally, I don't need any more than this. This will get me in enough trouble as it is. My favorite car, and spoiler alert, we're going to be doing a review on this one coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay guys, so even though this is kind of our season ender, Cars and Coffee, we're still going to be doing lots of reviews, and we're going to be biding our time with the weather as long as we can. So as long as I can take these cars out, we're going to be doing that. And when the winter comes, these videos are going to continue. I might even take some cars and have some fun in the snow. So make sure you stay tuned for that, okay?